Good morning, all. The Jocelyn Gray Avatar is back with your Sunday morning announcements. If you're with us on Facebook or YouTube, please subscribe to get notifications when we have new videos. If you're with us on Zoom, drop us a hi in the chat. We'd love to say hello back. If you're with us in person, hello everybody here. And if this is your first visit, please sign the guest book either in the lobby or online at oakcliffuu.org/guest. A reminder, every Sunday morning at 9:30, one of our board members is available to answer your questions about the church. We hope you take advantage of this opportunity, either in person or online via Zoom. Today we have a special guest in the pulpit, Aftab Siddiqui, with Peace in Palestine, looking at the war in Gaza and its implications for peace in the region. We hope you can stick around after the service today for Talkback, where we gather in a circle and discuss the service and related topics. For those online, see the Zoom chat at the end of the service for the meeting information. Adult Religious Exploration with Sarah Ricky returns today with UU Who's Who, famous UUs and their work. This week features Margaret Fuller. That's today in the Hope Library and on Zoom at tinyurl.com/uucoc-adultre. Today, March 24th, our White Accountability Group will meet in person at 12:30 p.m. in Charity North, and on Zoom at tinyurl.com/uucoc-wag. If you are white identifying and want to become an anti-racist ally and accomplice, please consider joining us. Why a white identifying group? Because it's our work to do, and we need to do it without further harming people of color. So, if you want to join in person, see you in Charity North. With a little luck, there will be food. Coming up this week, our Widening the Circle of Concern work group continues to meet on Monday at 7 p.m. Please join us by attending the weekly meeting and or submitting your comments and suggestions via email at wcoc@oakcliffuu.org. Next Sunday, March 31st, is Easter and Transgender Day of Visibility. So dust off those Easter bonnets and welcome Leah Pittman back to the pulpit for a special day. And we have a member birthday. Happy birthday to Sherry Randall! Speaking of annual events, who remembers the years when the church had a booth at the Oak Cliff Earth Day celebration? Well, we will again. Mark your calendar for April 21st. Not only will we have a booth, but we will also be doing church in the amphitheater at Lake Cliff Park. Watch for details. As the board prepares the budget to present at the annual parish meeting on May 19th. Yep, here comes the pledge drive. Board members will be contacting folks soon. Please note that we will be having a celebration of life for Stephen Martinson here in the sanctuary on April 7th at 4 p.m. All are welcome. As we say every week, it's all in the e-blast. Not receiving the e-blast? Just sign up at oakcliffuu.org/e-news. It's that easy. Have you signed up but aren't getting the e-blast? As the AV/IT guy, Scott, my dad, says, don't forget to check your spam folder. And make sure that news@oakcliffuu.org is in your contacts. That's it for now. Take care, everyone. Hope to see you next week.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let us begin our sacred work with this prayer from Reverend Summer El Biete, a UU Muslim of Iraqi descent who has been playing the Arabic drum professionally since the age of 12 and serves Unitarian Universalism with her extensive experience in interfaith dialogue, conflict resolution, and mediation. Searching for justice and hope. Verily, with hardship comes ease. From the Quran 94, 5-6. Lighting this chalice may feel difficult today. This symbol of justice, known to be a light of hope for the marginalized, a message of sanctuary for the oppressed, a flame that feels lost or diminished somehow. How do we rekindle this fire of compassion? How do we rekindle this fire of mercy? A famous quote within the Quran tells us that with hardship comes ease. With hardship comes ease. We welcome the ease, O God of justice. We welcome the ease, O Spirit of love. We welcome the ease and rekindle this flame from our tears, our quiet suffering, from our collective prayers for those who cry for freedom. We welcome the ease and rekindle this flame on behalf of those who feel abandoned and betrayed. We welcome the ease and rekindle this flame for all of the children who ask, why can we not live in peace as other children do? May lighting this chalice today, no matter how difficult it may feel, help us to rekindle compassion and mercy within the deep crevices of our hearts so that we can, once again, bring justice and hope to a world struggling to find its humanity, struggling to find its soul. In our community, we take time each week to share what's in our hearts and on our minds. If your heart is heavy today, know that you don't have to carry that heartache alone. Together, we can offer comfort. Please share your sorrows publicly by posting them in the Zoom chat, or send them to our Facebook Messenger, or speak them aloud. As spoken of in Reverend Summers' quotation from the Quran, we know that even in the midst of hardship and sorrow, there are moments of ease and blessing. And so we share our joys with one another too, knowing that joy calls unto joy, amplified. Together, our voices can rise in a chorus of celebration. Please share your joys publicly by posting them to the Zoom chat or send them to our Facebook Messenger or speak them aloud. Welcome to the UU Church of Oak Cliff. Here we seek to build a community where what you believe is less important than how your beliefs guide and inform your participation in the world. Ours is a community that strives to value the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. To our returning visitors, we're so happy you've joined us again. We know your time is precious, and we're honored to have you here today. We would also like to extend a warm welcome to any who are joining us for the first time. We recognize the bravery it takes to come into a new place, and we're glad you're here. Ours is a covenantal church. Latin for come together. Covenant means a solemn agreement or promise from the heart regarding a course of action between parties. The practice of promising to walk together is the core of our faith. Simply put, it's a guide for the behavior we expect from ourselves and each other. We're bound together by the promises we make to one another, and we recite our covenant during every worship service. Because we love one another, we honor each individual's spiritual journey. We celebrate life's
abundance in service to each other, our community, and the world. We connect with each other in love, respect, and acceptance. Thus do we covenant together. And in Spanish, porque nos amamos uno al otro, honoramos el viaje espiritual de cada individuo. Celebramos la abundancia de la vida en el servicio a entre sí, nuestra comunidad y el mundo. Ponemos en contacto a unos con otros en el amor, respeto y acepción. Así que hacemos pacto.
Please welcome our Social Justice Ministry Chair, Mavis Belisle.
I was asked to introduce our speaker this morning, who happens to be a dear friend of mine, as well as a working colleague on many issues. I was handed this kind of encyclopedia piece for an introduction, and I'll read part of it, but I would like to shift to a more personal approach. Aftab Siddiqui has been actively involved in community organizations for 3 decades in the fields of social justice, environment, and peace. He is president of the Dallas Peace and Justice Center, and in the past served as a board member of Texas Coalition to Abolish the Death Penalty. He volunteered for United Way of Tarrant County, was a member of the cabinet, and chaired Families Impact Council. His volunteerism in healthcare and social justice fields led to a stint for 2 decades with the Muslim Community Center for Human Services, a nonprofit that provides charitable health and social services in the community at large. He served the board and later as chair of the organization. Aftab is deeply concerned about democracy and human rights issues in South Asia. He is a founding board member of the South Asia Democracy Watch, an organization that works for human, women's, and religious rights and democracy in South Asia. He is formerly president and currently board of Muslim Democratic Caucus of Texas. He is a member of the executive committee of Tarrant County Democratic Party. He played a key role in organizing Ballot Box Barbecue, 2002, a massive voter registration drive, and civil rights conferences in 2003, 2004, and 2005. Migrating to the U.S. in 1993, Aftab played a key role in establishing the Amnesty International chapter in Pakistan. He was actively involved in campaigns against human rights violations and the death penalty. I met Aftab through his work with the Dallas Peace and Justice Center. Several of us formed a nuclear-free world committee. Aftab worked with the Middle East Peace Committee. I decided to sit in, since that was the area where we were at risk of nuclear war and nuclear weapons. From the beginning, I was impressed with his knowledge of the area, its history, and its politics. In fact, that knowledge spread not just in the Middle East, but across the globe. We've had an opportunity to work on numerous issues since and become friends as well as colleagues. I welcome Aftab Siddiqui.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here among friends. And I have been to this church multiple times over the years, and I have always thought that it's a very friendly church, and the work it does is absolutely marvelous. So thank you very much for your activism and for your for peace, justice, friendship, and it's great to be here. Thank you. So you have been seeing, hearing, watching what's going on in Palestine, and I'm not sure how much knowledge is there. So what I'll do is I'll just make some points, some salient points here, and later on I can go into more details when we get to the Q&A session. I think because many people do not have the historical perspective, but many people now have more information about the entire area, about the issues. So here are some salient points about Gaza. Israel and Gaza are not separate countries. Gaza is a small territory mostly surrounded by Israel and whose borders Israel controls directly or, in the case of one crossing, indirectly. And that is the Rafah crossing near the Egyptian border. Gaza is often called an open-air prison for good reason. We all know that Gaza has been under an illegal blockade for 16 or 17 years now, where the Gazans cannot go out. Nobody can get in without the permission of Israel. And even though they have a sea and beach, but they cannot really go out in the sea. The fishing that the people do there is also controlled by the Israeli Navy, and often they are fired upon, and there have been casualties over the years. And of course, Israel totally controls whatever goes into Gaza. And then Israel also controls the electricity, the water supply, and the air, everything. So for good reason, it's known as open-air prison. But my thing is that and when you are in a prison, you know when you are getting out. In Gaza, might be a better term, a concentration camp, because they don't know that when they are coming out of the camp. So Muslims, Christians, and Jewish Palestinian Arabs peacefully shared the land before Israel was created in 1948. Israel was founded in 1948 by forcing non-Jewish Palestinians off the land. Israel has been taking over more Palestinian land ever since. And we know about the Oslo Peace Accord during President Clinton's time in 1993, when Yasser Arafat and the Israeli Premier Yitzhak Rabin joined together to sign an accord in which the Palestinians ceded 78% of the land of Palestine to Israel, and they only wanted to build their new country on 22% of the land, as per the 1967 boundaries. But unfortunately, how many years? More than 3 decades have passed, and nothing has happened for the Palestinians. And Israel has refused to really even cede 22% of the land to the Palestinians. And we all know that the two sides are not evenly matched. Palestinians are killed at massively higher rates than Israelis, and this has always been true. Please do remember that Palestinians do not have a standing army, military hardware, air force, or navy. They've got only ragtag militia kind of a thing, whatever they can fight back. Whereas Israel is the regional superpower. We give Israel $3.8 billion of military aid every year. On top of that, President Biden has been giving Israel billions of dollars of aid, and he's asking Congress to pass $14 billion, $14 to $19 billion, depending on which congressman or senator we talk to. Palestinian in Gaza and the West Bank have often tried nonviolent resistance, and 2018 and 2019 in Gaza, they started a nonviolent action where every Friday they would go, people would walk to the border fence and say that we want liberty and we want justice and we want independence. And this went on for 2 years, and Israel retaliated by putting in about 100 snipers who would kill all those people who were peacefully marching towards the border. And the Israelis killed media people, children were shot, old men, women. I mean, there was, I think, there were about 5,000 people were shot, and out of them, about 200 to 300 people were died because of the gunshots. And the thing was that they were specifically shooting on the upper part of the body, or they were shooting at the legs of the people who were peacefully demonstrating. So numerous respected organizations have documented Israel's systemic human rights abuses and violations of international law. Israel relies on funding and diplomatic cover from the US. Its actions often harm the United States. As we know, this time that the entire world is asking for an immediate and permanent ceasefire, but United States has recently started uttering the word ceasefire. Otherwise, it was it wasn't mentioned in the Washington D.C. Power circles for the last since October 7th. And talking about October 7th, hundreds of Gazans broke out of Gaza, attacked Israeli soldiers and civilians, and took hostages. Israel disseminated atrocity claims about the attack, many of them found to be without evidence and untrue. We all know about the unfortunate news that started coming out that there were 40 beheaded infants, babies. That was never supported by any document or any proof, and eventually Israel had retracted that. And then there has been a case of that mass rape of Israeli women. There has been no evidence of that, but that does not condone the action of the Hamas and other groups, fighters, in really taking hostages or harming the civilians. If they are having a fight, and according to the international law, they have the right to fight against an occupation which has been going on for 75 years now, but they do not have any right to really harm any civilians. And after that, we know that after October 7th, Israel immediately began indiscriminately shelling Gaza, killing and maiming men, women, and children of all ages. And till now, 32,000 people dead, 12 or 13,000 children, and 7 or 8,000 women. It is a tragic scenario. They have cut off water, food, and everything. Before October 7th, the need of the Gaza was 500 trucks of supplies every day. Right now, they're supplying only 100, barely 100 trucks a day. And according to the UN agencies, there's a need for 7,000 trucks a day. So we should keep those Palestinians and people in our prayers, and we should keep the hostages also in our prayers. But when we talk about hostages, Israel has been detaining Palestinians. Right now there are 9,000 Palestinians detainees, including children and women, and most of them are being detained without any charges. And if you ask me, I would call them hostages too, because it's the way the media talks about hostages, then they're hostages on both the sides. And of course, Israel has every right to defend itself, and so do the Palestinians. Israel has the right to be a safe and secure country, as the Palestinians have the right to be. So, talking about how can the peace be possible? The peace can only be possible when the international community steps in, because we have seen the Oslo Accord hasn't really helped. Israel has been dragging its feet, giving only 22% of the land back to the Palestinians. And now we all know what Netanyahu and his war cabinet has been saying that there isn't going to be any Palestinian state. But the thing is that why should Palestinians be under permanent occupation? Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch and the Israeli human rights organization B'Tselem have come out with reports that on the West Bank, uh, it is apartheid conditions because there are roads on which only no Palestinians can use. The Palestinians' vehicles have different color number plates so that the IDF can identify any vehicle from afar. So, and it is, I would, excuse me, I would suggest to you that please go to Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and B'Tselem reports and see what are the conditions under which the Palestinians have been living. People keep on talking about 7th October. What about 6th October, 5th October, 4th October? There were on 2023 before 7th October was the most violent year in recent times, because on the average, one Palestinian was being shot dead by the IDF. And after October 7th, of course, they have killed more than 535 Palestinians on the West Bank. Now remember, Gaza, Hamas ruled Gaza, which is an absolutely separate area. And the West Bank is controlled by Palestinian Authority and Israel. And there is no Hamas in the West Bank. So why are people being killed in West Bank? Why are their homes being destroyed? And why do we see atrocities and youngsters being killed in the West Bank? And there was a report yesterday that while everybody is really focused on Gaza, Israel has been killing and torturing people on the West Bank. There has been an increasing number of death in prison. I think so far 13 to 19 Palestinian prisoners have been killed have died in the Israeli jails in the West Bank. So, and as I said, 9,000 detainees are there. Most of them without any charges, nothing. They don't know when they are coming out, and that includes the children also. So now, how can we achieve peace there? The peace can only be achieved if the international community forces it on both the parties. There is, because we know that Israel is not going to do anything voluntarily. Israel is totally dependent on United States for its military armament and for financial aid, even though it's a very wealthy country. But I think the only way to do it is we have to look at the UN resolutions, the peace accords, and then we should really United Nations should enforce the two-state solution there. Excuse me. The other day, I was hearing a program, an interview by Miko Pilet, who is the son of a famous Israeli general who fought for the state of Israel many times. Now, Miko is coming out of that military family, and he lives in California now, and he is of the view that the only way peace is possible is, number one, when it is forced, and number two, he says that Israel has grabbed and really seized so much of the land, that 22% of the land, that it will be very hard to separate out the two countries. So he thinks that the only solution is one state, one democratic state solution, where there are about 50% of both the populations can live. So these are a couple of things that are there, but they do need international intervention. And I will stop here, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Okay, thank you very much for being very patient and for giving me this honor. Thank you.
Our world is one world. What touches one affects us all. The seas that wash us round about, that clouds that cover us, the rains that fall. Our world is one world. The thoughts we think affect us all. The way we build our attitudes, the love or hate we make, a bridge or wall. Our world is one world. Its ways of wealth affect us all. The way we spend, the way we share, who are the rich or poor, who stand or fall. Our world is one world, just like a ship that bears us all, where fear and greed make many holes, but where our hearts can hear a different call.
Good morning, everyone. In the spring of 2021, UUCOC added a second covenant to our weekly worship service. Our Widening the Circle of Concern covenant, that work takes its name from an in-depth UUA, Unitarian Universalist Association study, that was published in 2020, and with which we as a congregation have been actively engaged ever since. The words of this covenant are in your order of service and will appear on the screen behind me, and I invite you to join me. We, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff, commit ourselves to the study and dismantling of racism and oppression within our congregation. We commit our congregation and ourselves to the work of anti-racism and anti-oppression. We commit ourselves to listening, to learning, and to action. When we fail, we commit ourselves to trying again and again. We covenant to begin this work and to continue until all of us can truly say that we are a beloved community of justice, equity, and compassion. My widening moment today is relatively short, and it has nothing to do with the Middle East. And that's because, in large part, I am nowhere qualified to speak on that topic at this time. I am learning more, and I look forward to learning more during our talk back. But I do want to lift up and share with you a gift that I got this month. So earlier this month, Rita Jackson shared a particular video to our talkback page on Facebook. And it was a slam poet reciting a poem of hers called Unnamed. I'll give you just a couple of lines from that. When people wonder about Black names, why the names aren't shorter, why the runaway syllables aren't easier to catch, why our names chime like music when they traverse between lobes, about why we name our children after cars, after movement, after freedom. That is just a tiny snippet from Unnamed by Portia Olayiwola, and it was a real gift to look at that video that Rita had shared earlier this month, and then this past week to go looking and finding out more about this amazing artist. That poem was my introduction to her, and I have since watched a good half dozen different slam performances she's done and read a couple of printed pieces. So we will be putting a link in the video so that y'all can go check out some more of her work, and those that haven't yet seen that particular performance piece, which is really amazing, can see it. And if you happen to be in Vermont in the middle of next month, you can see her in person at a free event at the UU Church in Montpelier on the 17th. I won't be there, but who knows? Perhaps my voice is carrying to somebody who will have that opportunity. So I hope you'll check out her work. She's amazing. So thank you.
The gifts you make to our weekly offering or through your annual pledge represent far more than lines on a spreadsheet. Your contributions are a tangible commitment to the mission and vision of this congregation. The offering is an affirmation, a yes. When we give, we say yes to something we value. With our gifts freely given, may we say yes to the values of our faith. Members, if you're contributing cash toward your pledge, please use the envelope provided in the basket and write your name on it. To text your donation, see the number on your order of service. And for more options, see oakcliffuu.org/donate.
Recibo, a ti te doy.
Today, we will extinguish our chalice with the words, "Go in peace." But, to quote Reverend Jim McGaw of Sunnyvale UU in Pittsburgh, when I say go in peace, I don't mean go in mindless oblivion. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go without challenging yourself or others. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go in utter ease and comfort. When I say go in peace, I mean go in peace seeking justice. I mean go in peace committed to equal rights and opportunities for all. When I say go in peace, I mean go in the peace that is created when together we build communities of true solidarity, deep compassion, and fierce, unrelenting love. Go in peace.